Martin Freeman, a well-known British actor, decided recently to talk about how he's no longer vegetarian. But his reasoning for such, his new revelation, is really confusing. So he's on this show that is for Waitrose, a supermarket in the UK that's kind of high-end. You go there if you're fancy. You wouldn't catch me going there. I'd simply burn alive, darling. But they're sat down eating a bolognese that's full of the body parts of animals. And Martin goes on to say that he hasn't had a decent bolognese in years.
Martin, you were telling me you've not had a bolognese. You've had a bit of a bolognese hiatus.
Why? Because I've been, I've come off being a vegetarian. I started being a vegetarian in like January 1986.
Wow.
So,
for ethical reasons or health?
Interesting how she says vegetarian for ethical reasons. The ethics of vegetarianism are very confused. It's like you're, whoa, halfway there, whoa, living on a prayer. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was never really, I was never comfortable with the idea of eating animals.
He was never comfortable with the idea of eating animals. So what has changed? Are you now comfortable with the idea of eating animals? And he wasn't vegetarian during this whole period of time. He was actually pescatarian. So does he not think that fish are also animals?
Okay.
So I've not had a really good bolognese since then.
Bolognese? Firstly, a bolognese is like the easiest thing to veganize, let alone make vegetarian. I make a banging bolognese. That is so vegan and it's so delicious. What do you mean?
But I think, yeah, in the last several months, it's really new, going back to being an omnivore.
Yeah.
Just sort of eating what I like. It's a funny one because I like meat replacement things, but my reservation about them is that they can be very, very processed.
Just don't eat the heavily processed ones? There's so many issues with this. Namely, the food you're eating right now is processed.
I've got diced beef and pork, a little bit of pancetta in there as well.
Bye-bye. You're not needed anymore. She talks about pork, pig, and beef, cow, which are processed foods.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to eat less processed foods.
Yeah.
You know.
He says eating processed foods.
This isn't fancy. It's good, solid, honest, a sort of staple.
Interesting to call it an honest staple when there's nothing honest about it at all. In fact, whole atrocities are being committed behind closed doors.
In a free country, I can do what I like.
Yeah, you can have a Scotch egg, Martin.
And also, do you know the other thing? A pork pie with the jelly and all that.
Yeah.
The pork pie is one of the most processed foods you can get. Like, honestly, what are you talking about?
There's sometimes a bit of a snobbery about veggie stuff.
Yeah,
and there's sometimes a bit of unnecessary hostility towards being vegetarian. You know.
I know.
There really is, actually, isn't there?
We're
Need
over
to go
it
over
now,
that.
I
We're
think.
over that
We're
now.
over
Yeah,
it.
she spearheaded that anger, actually. She started it.
There's no need for it. You know, like, if someone's made a
God.
different choice to you, then fine, whatever.
Yeah, not
There is indeed hostility towards being vegetarian, and there's indeed hostility towards being vegan. But he says something very interesting there. It shouldn't matter if someone's making a different choice than you. But the thing is, arguably everything that we do is a choice. Some of these choices that we make can be demonstrated to be bad choices and should indeed be scrutinized. Like paying for someone to exploit and kill other sentient beings, for example. That would be a good example of something that's a problem.
I agree.
Because also, vegetarian food is and can be fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
genuinely fantastic.
Yeah.
Then he says vegetarian food can be lovely. Yeah, so you could have had a lovely vegetarian bolognese.
I know that I just wanted more balance in
Yeah,
my
of
diet.
course,
That's
yeah.
kind of why I did it. It wasn't, you know what? It wasn't even a craving. You speak to so many people because I've been vegetarian most of my life, and then I was pescatarian actually. So I went from pesky to what I am now. But for a long time I was veggie for years and years and years.
He wanted more balance. Well, a balanced diet is possible when you're plant-based, let alone vegetarian. So what exactly do you mean? Is it suddenly that you're accepting more food groups? That you're seeing more things as potentially food? What if I started thinking that dog was a food group and I started chowing down on dogs and I said, I just wanted more balance in my life. So this Pomeranian is going to make a wonderful Pomeranian pork pie.
And people would say, yeah, but don't you just miss a bacon sandwich? And I never did. I genuinely never did until one day I was rehearsing a play in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I was veggie. I was in my late 20s, and I found my feet taking me to a chippy. It was weird, man. And before I knew it, I was ordering a piece of cod.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? I was taking it and going, this is wrong. But then having it and sort of, because I always knew I liked the taste of meat and fish. It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
But it was just about where your line is.
Yeah,
And also my line shifted,
So he talks about his line just shifting. Oh, that's okay then. Your line shifted. I'm gonna go out stabbing dogs tomorrow. I don't know, my line has just shifted, We can just say our line has shifted, but what is the justification for the line shifting? And then in a weird turn of events, the next conversation they go on to talk about is cat and dog videos and then making people cry.
Tony, we've been stalking your social media.
Yeah.
We've noticed that pastime of yours is you quite like videos of cats and dogs that have made you cry.
Yeah.
Are you quite a man in touch with your emotions? Are you quite an emotional man?
Oh my God!
You cry at a cat video.
I literally will cry at a cat video. I'll cry. Duncan, my son, has got a book about Spot loses his mummy.
Poor Spot.
Don't start because I'll go and there's 4 pages, right? I can't get past page 2 when I'm starting to cry. Honestly, it just kills me every time. The kids looking at me like, what's wrong with you? And I sob my heart out constantly.
Oh my gosh, if you're vegan and you're seeing this right now, you are probably feeling the pain that I am feeling. Yes, I am feeling pain. Yeah, so there's that. It really doesn't make very much sense, so just thought I'd cry about it. Thank you for watching. Salads.